One thing that kills fear more than anything, action. Action kills fear. When you action, when you solving problems towards a desire, solving problems towards a goal, solving problems towards something, and you're actioning, what happens is as you're actioning, what are you doing? You're making mistakes, you're trying something, you're learning, you're reflecting because you have a goal. What are you doing? You're solving problems. You're solving problems. You're actioning. You're calling someone. You're doing this. You're doing it because you have a destination. When you start to action, and this is what deep learning is all about. The deep learning machine is about changing your mindset into a machine that has a focal point. And what are we doing? We're starting with actioning first. Deep learning is a completely different way of learning. It's actually the best way of learning. It's the most productive, life-changing way of learning, because learning is not just going to school. Learning and growth is not just going to university and doing a subject and becoming skillful at something. No. Learning is about solving problems towards a desire. Solving problems towards it. You'll hear me say this a lot. Intelligence is not basically me giving you all these facts and all these data, and I've memorized 20 million facts and 20 million pieces of data. That's just wasting energy in my brain. Intelligence is about solving problems towards a desire. Solving problems when you don't have the skill sets and knowledge to do so. Solving problems when you don't have the skill sets and knowledge to do so towards a desire. That's intelligence. And when you get to the habit, when you get to the what I call the machine, the deep learning machine, it's like an engine. Your brain then starts to get excited because now we're actioning. We're actioning. Actions kills fear. Actions kills fear. If you look at the great deep learners, Elon Musk, Steve Jobs, Kobe Bryant. Kobe Bryant's an example, one of the best examples, because it wasn't so much he had a problem. Initially, he had a problem. He was being bullied at school. He was never a basketball player. And he wanted to make friends. And the only place where he wasn't being bullied was at a basketball court, but it was outside the basketball court. And so he had a problem. He needed to not be bullied and find friends. But the problem was now, to make friends, he needed to find a way to connect. And he would see people playing basketball, and he'd see the team environment, and people were high-fiving, and people were popular, and there's people around watching. So he had a problem of wanting to make friends and not be bullied. And so he saw basketball and he wanted to be in that court, on that court at school. So what did he do? He started to find ways to become a better basketball player. He had a problem, he started to solve that problem. He actioned it, he started to action. Didn't feel sorry for himself, didn't play the victim. He started to action himself until he got himself onto the court. But you know what happened when he got himself onto that court? He was still the worst player. But he got himself onto the court, he made some friends, he solved the problem. But you know what happened in that process? He gained a deep learning brain model, solving problems towards a desire, solving problems towards a desire. Learning to play basketball was just something that he had to do to solve a problem. And that's what happens. We chase the skill sets, we chase the knowledge for a problem. We're not getting the knowledge, we're not learning, reading. No, we're chasing, we're actioning the problem. And in that process, we're reflecting, we're making a lot of mistakes, we're making a lot of failures, but it's in that process that we start to close the gaps because we have a desire. And when that desire is ecstatic, when it's a burning desire, fear goes, because we start to create a series of problems that we need to solve towards our destination. If you don't have a destination, if you don't have a goal that's ecstatic, start building a machine. That's what the deep learning machine is all about. Start building the model in your head, solving problems towards a goal. Choose a goal. Solve the problems. You have to have problems. Action those problems. Because the fear hates actions. And what happens? Why don't we action? Because we fear failure. So what happens is fear kicks in and says, well, I'm going to look embarrassed to do this. I'm going to look embarrassed. I'm going to look embarrassed doing these videos. People are going to be laughing at me. That's fear kicking in. Oh, I'm going to be embarrassed going to this meeting. What if I make a mistake? I've got to give this speech in 2 weeks' time. Oh my God, there's going to be a lot of CEOs there and doctors. Oh my God, maybe I shouldn't give this speech out of fear because I might make a mistake. What happens is when we allow fear to kick in and talk to us, that's when we lose our confidence. That's when we lose our gifts. That's when we lose our talents. That's when we create a system in our head that's seeking the comfort zone, that's seeking the cheap dopamine. And when we action, because action kills fear, the biggest enemy, remember this, the biggest enemy to fear is action. I say you always start with the action. Always, even if you don't have the knowledge and skills, start with the action. Get your hands dirty. Throw yourself into it. I remember there was a time when my daughter was so scared to get into a swimming pool. In fact, she would be screaming to get into a swimming pool. So one day I just went in and just threw her in the swimming pool. And then she wasn't fearful anymore. So you just got to get to the point. You throw yourself into that pool, throw yourself into it. Start thinking of yourself that you're better than what you think you are. Because once you start actioning, you're going to make mistakes. You're going to have failures. And if you look at the 50, I studied 50 self-made billionaires the last 25 years. And they were all, every single one of them, deep learners. They were all solving problems towards a desire. Solving problems towards a desire. And guess what they all were? Every single one of them. They didn't have fear. Because you know why? They were fearless. Fearless because they just acted. If you look at most of these billionaires, I was amazed. I wasn't amazed, but it was amazing when you hear this. They had so many mistakes and so many failures. They made a lot of mistakes, a lot of failures. In fact, they got into areas they had no idea about because they were chasing a desire. And you can't be a deep learner unless you've got a goal and a target. And what we're doing is we're building the model again. So if you don't have an ecstatic desire, it's okay. We're building the model in our head.